Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? You. You're here and I'm queer and welcome back to my channel. Why hello my dear huntsman. The icon, the legend, the jealous, and the vain. We are here to make the evil queen. With the new live-action movie, I really wanted to love it, but it just didn't spark joy for me. All the choices for the movie felt really off, and the costumes, they were definitely a choice. I don't think Sandy Powell had complete agency with the final look, since she's created these beautiful designs before. I sense a higher power may have meddled with the final designs. I really wish they took either a fantastical route or a historical route for the costuming, or even something similar to what Sandy has done in the past. So I will be making my own version of the Evil Queen. Initially, I ordered both official dolls of Snow White and the Evil Queen. It didn't really make sense for me to use those dolls since I will be changing 99% of it. Like, I almost kept them just for their head molds and some accessories. And in this terrifying times, it was not worth it. My evil queen will be inspired by the queen we all chose. The viral evil queen from Disneyland. My queen will definitely pull inspiration from the original animation with added elements I would have loved to see in the live action movie. It's important to note that I may draw inspiration from specific historical fashions, but like the original Snow White movie, it will not be historically accurate. And hope for something elegant, dramatic, draggy, and evil. This doll, like most of my dolls, will take some great planning for it to be successful. Like the Evil Queen, the execution would need to be perfect, and this tool will allow you to organize your creativity as perfectly as you want it. Milanote is an amazing visual organization tool that makes it easy to gather ideas, references, and inspiration and organize them all in one place. My mind is often all over the place when I'm planning a new doll, and I would have references, sketches, and ideas all over. I have them on my phone, I have some on my sketchbooks, and so on. Doing this also helps me make sure my concept designs actually make sense, and it's quite satisfying seeing my sketches along the references. Milanote helps me keep everything all in one online canvas. I like to organize my boards in different major categories. I have a main board that covers the doll's overall concept and materials, and I also have subboards that provide more details about the project, like fashion and makeup inspirations. I like having them separated to make it easier for me to visualize the ideas and references. I tend to lose track of what needs to be done, so I added important notes and to-do lists to my boards. You can check off what you've done and see what needs to be done to keep my workflow flowing. You can even add comments, notes, and even draw on the boards itself to emphasize anything that's important for your project. Now that is the board fit for a queen, and I'm not talking about the doll. And if you're new to organizing your fabulous ideas, you can go as simple as you'd like, or you can use one of Milanote's over 100 built-in templates to help you get started. Whether you're a doll artist, writer, designer, creator, and more, Milanote is designed to help you organize your work. If you're ready to organize your creativity, click my link in the description below and try Milanote today. It's totally free and there's no time limit. Thank you to Milanote for sponsoring this video. Alas, let's not keep the evil queen waiting, and let's get started on thy transformation. Since I ended up returning the official dolls, we have a clean slate on which doll to use. When I was digging into my doll stash, I found this Audrey Hepburn Barbie, and I thought I would love to customize her and kind of turn her into this iconic queen. And there's absolutely no reasoning as to why I chose Audrey. I just really wanted to finally customize an Audrey Hepburn face, and Audrey did have a role before where she was a nun, so she had kind of like the wimple, and I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. So to me, it made sense. For the body, I did originally want to use a made-to-move Barbie because I do want the articulation in there. Like, she needs to be able to hold her face. There's a lot of significant poses that I could really do with the Evil Queen if she has a made-to-move body. Although the made-to-move Barbies have amazing articulation, the only caveat that they have, at least for me, is that their bodies are often just super straight. There's no shape to them, so as usual, we will be cinching her waist. To modify the waist a little bit easier, I will be doing the boiling method. It is easier, but it's very unpredictable. It's definitely not a method that I love doing. I just thought about it now, but in hindsight, I should have just removed the original Audrey Hepburn arms, and I should have just attached the arms of the Made to Move Barbie, which is what I've done in the past. But I guess I tend to make things complicated for myself, so it is what it is. Another thing that I don't really love with Made to Move Barbies are the mitten hands. They're just like this. There's no action, there's no elegance to it. So let's go ahead and check my box of doll hands and see which elegant hands we can use for the evil queen. Because her doing this, it's not gonna cut it. But her doing this, that's gonna cut it. I want to use these hands over here, the one in the bottom. They are longer than your typical Barbie hands, but I think for the evil queen, it works out so well. And it actually has nails on top of that. So it's longer fingers and it has like actual like almond shaped nails, which is a win-win in my books. Now let's work on her crown. For the official evil queen doll, this is the one I was like, oh, maybe I'll keep the crown and maybe I can use it. But I was like, it's really not worth it. It's not worth it. The overall doll, it's not usable for me. I'm just gonna make my own crown. So let's go ahead and make her crown from scratch. The overall shape of it is going to be very spiky. And instead of it just being like a 3-point like the original cartoon, I do want this to have multiple points. I don't know if that's what it's called. But yeah, I do want this to look a little bit more sinister. And I'm just taking my Warbler and I will be using this as a base for the crown. To add some details to the crown, I will be using epoxy sculpt for that. And overall, I do want this to look very old, very worn out. I do want it to look metallic at the same time, but I don't want it to be perfect. I feel like this is a time where I wish I was able to 3D print something like this very quickly, but you guys know 3D printing literally takes maybe 5 years out of my life every print, so I go with the traditional form of sculpting, and that is with clay. It's not as stressful, it's definitely not perfect and not super clean looking, but honestly I really love the result because I'm trying to go for the old crown look anyway. Now let's go ahead and paint it gold, and I will be dry brushing this with some black and brown as well to really give it the aged look. To add more brilliance and color to the crown, I am giving it some red jewels and also some silver jewels. And this will also add some sparkle to the overall crown. I am super obsessed with this crown. It looks medieval, it looks so regal, it looks very evil, but also very cartoonish. I feel like it's the perfect blend of all of the inspirations that I wanted for this evil queen. For her iconic wimple, again, I want this to look really old world. I want it to look kind of medieval, and it is inspired heavily by Lady Olenna from Game of Thrones. And I really wanted to incorporate that type of wimple with folds around her like neck area. For this one though, it is going to be a mixture of fabric and also Warbler. I feel like this part needs to be super structured and then everything else will drape down. Now let's work on her iconic Medici collar. The cartoon Evil Queen and Snow White has their collar to just be completely solid, and I'm sure that's just because of animation, but real Medici collars are a little bit more textured. They are often made out of starched lace, so they're very, very stiff, or like they're stiffened with wire or something like that. So I want to do something similar to it, but my own twist. And for it to be like really up, I want to use a base of Warbler for it to kind of create this collar piece for her neckline. Of course, to make Warbler posable, I did heat this up with my heat gun, and now we are just posing it and waiting for that to kind of stay in place. And I will be adding some texture to it using my hot glue gun. The texturing doesn't have to be super perfect since it's going to be covered anyway, but I do prefer it to have texture in some way and not just plain. I wasn't super sure what color to make the collar. I mean, usually they are white, but because this is kind of like the base of the collar and not the actual lace material, I was like, maybe I should just stick with gold and maybe dry brush it so it's kind of armor looking. It's kind of like gold plated in a way, and yeah, I think overall it just looks better. And the neck area is a part of the wimple, so we're just painting that black. I wanted to give her some more accessories just for like video purposes, for picture purposes. I feel like it's so fun to play around with actual props. Of course, we gotta create some apples for her, and I'm making 3 different kinds of apples. 1 full apple, 1 bitten apple, and 1 poison apple. They look super juicy, and I just use wire for the stem of the apple. Now for the poison apple, it's the same exact thing, but for the gooey poison part, I'm using my hot glue to kind of do the dripping effect. Of course, let's go ahead and paint the base of the apple red, and then the poison part will be green. If you guys have seen the live action Snow White, what did you personally think about it? Honestly, I like I said, I really tried to give it a chance, but they did so much changes to it that it really felt like the magic and fairy tale like aspect to it is very, like, it's almost gone. Like, it's definitely not storybook vibes, you know? So let me know what you think in the comments below. Now let's go ahead and make the iconic heart box. And for that, I will be using Warbler yet again to create the heart box. You may also use cardboard or just like cardstock if anything. It doesn't have to be Warbler. I do want it to be a little bit stronger, and I feel like Warbler does the job for that. The box is very, very intricate and very particular, and I'm modeling it after the original 1930s cartoon, of course. It's not like one for one of a copy, but the vibe is definitely the same, at least I'd like to think so. The original actually had a heart with a dagger or sword stabbed right through it, but for this one I'm just using a Sailor Moon brooch earring because the scale of it to this box is absolutely perfect. Now let's go ahead and paint everything gold. Initially, I wanted the box to be completely gold, but I was like, you know what, let's embrace color and make it red like the original cartoon. But of course, my red is going to be more muted, it's going to be dry brushed. I tried to make it look like wood, so over here I'm just painting some wood grain details with paint. So overall, I really, really love this box. Oh my god. Oh my god, this heart box is super elegant. I love how it looks. It's just, I love that it works, and I'm obsessed with it. Of course, now that we have the heart box, we can't forget about the heart. So let's go ahead and make some realistic pig's heart. I know this was very important to the story overall because a pig's heart does look like a human heart. So if you guys watch the new live action Snow White, there is some changes to it. Spoiler alert. I'm not sure if I love the change because I feel like the heart just feels more like dark in a way, like a dark fairy tale. And I feel like fairy tales in general are kind of dark in a way because it is used to kind of scare children or like teach children a lesson. But overall, I'm so obsessed with this. Now, because she is the vain and jealous evil queen, she needs to have her own hand mirror for her to look at herself all the time. And this one is definitely inspired by the evil queen from Disneyland, because people will give her hand mirrors and she would always like just improv, you know? I love her. I love the evil queen from Disneyland. She eats all the time. So I'm actually changing the mirror. I'm just showing you guys the process because this is exactly what I did for the new one. But this one is way too big. Although I really love the oval shape, I feel like it got way too heavy for her to even carry. So we will be using this one. I just used a wooden dowel and hot glue to create the handheld effect. And we are painting it overall with the same gold paint. And we're dry brushing it again with black. I feel like one of the issues I had with the live action is that they definitely changed the meaning of like fairness. Like, I really thought they were going to lean into the vanity and how the evil queen is jealous. The new angle that they went with fairness doesn't make sense with her character. They wanted her to strive for fairness and be fair to people when she's not fair to people. They should have just stuck with her being shallow. She wants to be the most beautiful in the land. Snow White is getting attention. That pisses her off. I feel like that would have been a great like villain. Like, just lean into it. I feel like they tried so hard to add some sort of meaning. We're talking about the evil queen. For her, being beautiful is the only thing. That's like her main thing. But I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe I took the movie incorrectly. So please let me know in the comments below what's your take on the storyline and their changes to the evil queen. Oh, and by the way, I did cut this doll's hair. I trimmed it down so it's kind of like this bob effect, just so that it fits a little bit better inside the wimple. And I am gelling it in place. Actually, I ended up gluing it. And technically you can shave the entire head, but then it would be too flat. The wimple would be too flat and it won't look realistic that there's hair underneath, if that makes sense. The bulk of the hair still needs to be present in a way. And now it's time to work on her visage. If you guys have been here for a while, you know that I love glamour. So we are bringing glamour back into the evil queen. But for the most part, I want this evil queen's makeup to be very, very true to the original cartoon. Purple eyeshadow, dramatic lip, dramatic eyebrows and everything. And again, I'm not trying to make this Audrey Hepburn looking, by the way. It's not going to be an Audrey Hepburn as evil queen. It's going to be my own version of the evil queen, which I happen to just use an Audrey Hepburn face. We are going to make her dramatic, beautiful, and the vain evil queen that she is. As usual, let's go ahead and remove the factory paint using our acetone. You may also use nail polish remover if it has acetone in it. I then sprayed her face with Mr. Super Clear to prime it, and now we are ready to draw on it with our watercolor pencils. I definitely did not have any specific reference. I mean, I had makeup references, but in terms of like eye shape or anything, I was just going off of the mold and see what fits. For the most part, I did try to copy the expression of the original 1930s cartoon, which I guess technically is very Joan Crawford looking. I also reference a lot of the makeup techniques that the viral evil queen from Disneyland did. I feel like her makeup skills are just top tier. It's so pigmented for some reason. I have no idea what makeup she's using, but she's doing such a good job with that freaking purple eyeshadow. Oh, I mean with her natural beauty. She doesn't wear makeup.
Always no makeup, all natural. Snow White, you can't relate.
So yeah, for this doll, we are just doing natural colors. Very, very modest, like, hues. Like, no pigment at all, honestly. I feel like it's been such a long time since I've done an eyebrow like this, which is kind of like, it's very arched. I mean, it's not super arched, but it is definitely like a blend of like 1930s eyebrows. It's very skinny also. I feel like I'm not used to it. But it's definitely a nice change from my usual face-ups. As a true glamorous icon, we need to give her some beauty mark. And of course, a little bit of highlighter here and there doesn't hurt. Let's call it her mummy dust, you know? Let's not forget to gloss up her lips, and let's also give her some eyelashes. I am super obsessed with this face. Oh my god, I just love how dramatic it is, how elegant it is, how luxurious it is, and how highlighted she is. Like the 1930s film, we have to give her some glamorous Hollywood half-moon nails. I mean, I was like, this is no-brainer. I have to give her the iconic half-moon red nails, which I personally love in drag, and I am just super obsessed with these types of nails. For the dress, I commissioned Samuel from Instagram to create this one-of-a-kind mermaid gown slash medieval slash 1930s inspired dress. I mean, like the original cartoon, this is like a mixture of everything. This is Cersei Lannister, this is Mother Gothel, this is Hollywood glamour, this is like everything in one dress. So thank you so much, Samuel, for creating this beautiful dress. Like, we are talking about drama here. We're talking about the evil queen. So she needs to be drama, 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 you know? I feel like I do want her silhouette to be a little bit more stronger and structured. So over here, I'm just taking some tulle fabric and we are padding her up. And this may look strange to some of you guys, but personally, this is the corset that I wear. And it is meant to have kind of like the shelf look, very squared off look towards the hips, also known as the wasp waist corset. But like in drag, it definitely exaggerates your shape and it makes your waist look smaller because the hips is so much bigger. I did ask Samuel to give me extra fabric just in case, which I ended up using because I wanted to create the mermaid part of her gown a little bit bigger, a little bit more dramatic, just so that it doesn't get like overwhelmed by everything else. I feel like in terms of balance, it is absolutely perfect. This part just looks a lot more exaggerated. It puddles to the ground a little bit better. I did add more of a tail part as well, so the skirt shape technically was like an oval shape, not like a circle shape. And yeah, overall it just looks really, really good. And as you can see, the underskirt is still here just in case. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with this dress. I've also asked Samuel to make a princess gloves. Of course, we needed princess gloves for the queen. So this one is a separate piece. And we cannot forget about the iconic long medieval sleeves as well. And for this one, it's not as full and cloak-like as the cartoon. This one is definitely more like Cersei Lannister. I mean, it's definitely stylized, but, you know, it's the evil queen we're talking about. She deserves it. Now let's start adding some accessories. I mean, for the most part, I wanted her to look accessorized, but of course, we gotta balance it out. We can't go too much, you know? For the accessories that I chose, it's definitely a lot of gold trim for her sleeves, for her neckline. You know, I feel like those really bring out the colors of her dress. I feel like it just really highlights how regal she is. And then with that, I wanted to add a bunch of chains around her. I feel like that is the perfect way to make it look glitzy, but also sinister in a way. Now let's continue working on her Medici collar. For the gem, I actually have this earring that I got from a local beauty supply store, and I thought it was perfect for her gem, so I just trimmed off the piece, and I am also adding the lace part, which is just like a fabric trim over here. It looks super, super elegant already, and of course, I do want to dry brush the gem with some black, just to make it look more aged and more medieval. I mean, look at this before and after. It started off so gold and clean looking, and now we have something so aged and tarnished and like just refined and medieval and gothic. I love it so much. For the shoes, I absolutely have no idea who this belongs to, but it fits the bigger, tall Barbie. So I am just adding some details on it as usual with our hot glue. And of course, we are giving her some red bottoms because, hello, she's the queen. She needs to have some red bottoms. In the original, she actually wore yellow pumps. You know, she was matching Snow White. But for this one, I am just dry brushing it with gold just to make it look more aged and a little bit more appropriate for the evil queen. Now for her iconic cape, oh my god, you guys. I don't think you guys can grasp how big this cape is. This cape was also made by Samuel, and they literally nailed it. This is how big her cape is. Look, it's like a collar. It's like a cape for me, you know? I'm obsessed with the velvet. I'm obsessed with the red lining. I actually wanted to add fur like the original Evil Queen had in the cartoon. I know the fur lining is a status symbol, but yeah, it just wasn't, it didn't look good. And you guys know me. More is more, is more is more. But this one I had to kind of pull back. It looked too out of place. It looked too wintry. And I tried multiple fur as well, like fur versions. I tried it with yarn, I tried it with fur, I tried it with big fur, small fur, like I tried it all. It wasn't eating for me. Now let's lay everything down, make sure we have everything ready for the transfiguration. Now let's go ahead and put our evil queen together. I think overall, I wish future movies, especially those that are fantasy and fiction, can actually take us to a new world that can truly inspire us. Personally, these movies are a way for me to escape the harsh realities, and being immersed in a fantasy world really helps me mentally. If the movie is truly a visual masterpiece, it makes me so happy. I try to do that with my dolls, and I escape through them, I'm able to express myself through them, and they truly are a canvas for me to create my own art. Honestly, if not, they should probably take a pause on making these live-action movies, because they are not hitting the same. I need the magic, I need the glamour, I need the camp. And yes, I'm still super bitter about the live-action Little Mermaid, because I feel like visually, that entire cast, especially Ariel, like we deserved the drama, we deserved the fantasy. Honestly, maybe it's a blessing in a way, because I wouldn't have been able to create my own Ariel dolls if I wasn't kind of like frustrated with what we got. So maybe it's a good thing. And now we're done with the evil queen.